It's time for MVP picks presented by Visa, a network working for everyone. So these MVPs are coming in the form of sleepers, maybe guys that you didn't see coming that could end up helping you win your matchup in week 2. We're each one with 3. Florio, who you got?
I'm starting off with Chase Claypool, who had a lot of excitement in draft season this year, but in week 1, he disappointed. He only had 3 catches for 45 yards on 5 targets. He was the 3rd wide receiver again for Pittsburgh. But this week, they go up against the Raiders, who gave up a couple of long balls to the Ravens last week. Claypool is still the Steelers' most explosive receiver, and I think they'll take some shots down the field with him in what should be a more productive day for their offense against the Raiders and not the Bills defense. I like KJ Hamler here as well. Tim Patrick got a lot of the hype when Jerry Jeudy went down, and I understand why, but KJ Hamler is going to move into a starting role here when they're in 3 wide receiver sets, and he is the explosive option here. He is the one that could really take the top off the defense. He nearly had a long touchdown in week 1, so I think he has some boomer bust upside. And then at number 3, it is Cole Beasley. Look, Cole Beasley is like that guy who you never get excited to start, but he is just productive. Last week against the Steelers, he had 13 targets. That's 1 less than Stephon Diggs. He was still the Bills' number 2 option there. He had 8 catches for 60 yards. And the thing is, Josh Allen in his career has dominated the Miami Dolphins. He just routinely goes off, throws multiple scores against them, and I think he's going to have a big game this week, and it's going to come with a lot of passes going to Cole Beasley's way.
I do like the Hamler pick, especially for people who are maybe looking for some big upside, because the floor potentially is low for him, but the ceiling could be high if Teddy Bridgewater actually connects with him downfield. Speaking of which, that leads me to my sleepers, and number 1 on my list is the aforementioned Teddy Two Gloves, who I know Broncos Nation was not super excited when Teddy Bridgewater ended up with the starting job over Drew Lock. But look, truth be told, he looked pretty good against the Giants in week 1, and now he gets to come back with a matchup against the Jaguars. And Jacksonville made Tyrod Taylor and the Texans look really, really good. And by the way, if I was ever going to start a Cowboy Troy cover band, I would probably call it Tyrod and the Texans. But I think this is a really good opportunity to get him in the lineup if you are of the type to stream quarterbacks, especially if you're playing in a 2 QB or super flex league. I think Bridgewater balls out. Number 2 on my list is Jared Cook. And Jared Cook is the fantasy football equivalent of the end piece of bread in the pack. It's like nobody really wants it. People actively avoid it. But you know what? If you find a way to use it, like make some French toast out of it or something, it can be pretty effective. And Jared Cook has sort of been that guy. Looked pretty good for the Chargers in week 1 against Washington. And now he gets a shot at the Cowboys defense. I expect that to be a high scoring game. And I think Cook is going to have a pretty good game as well. And my third is going to be James White. And I know it's just not sexy, right? James White has a pretty safe, if unspectacular floor, but we did see him be very involved in that passing game. I mean, Mac Jones stepped in and sort of used James White the way the Patriots have always used James White, as a nice little safety valve, a really good option in the passing game. And I think he's going to continue to do that this week. I know people are sort of scared of Patriots running backs, but I feel like after week 1, we got a pretty good idea of how things are going to shake out there in that Patriots attack. So James White, if you got him, it's a good chance to flex him in your lineup this week. If you want more sleepers, and I mean, really, who doesn't? You can check out my column each and every Wednesday on NFL.com. It's at NFL.com/sleepers. I get you 10 names, maybe even a couple of bonuses in there if you're really nice or read really between the lines. But either way, a good read. Please check it out when and where you can. Of course, we got plenty more. We got Fantasy Live all week long. And then there is stuff on Sunday Fantasy Game Day. Florio, I know you're going to be there. Tell the folks what they can expect from that show.
Yeah, you could catch Marcus, Rank, Kimmy, and myself every Sunday on NFL Fantasy Game Day. We're taking you all the way up till kickoff with the latest news, the top starts, sits, and a whole lot more. The show streams on the NFL Fantasy app, the NFL app, NFL.com, YouTube, and on Facebook. We're everywhere. If you watch your fantasy stuff, you can find us there. And if you want to win a championship, then just be sure to watch.